Guys, we've seen a lot of cool Xbox 360s over the years, like water-cooled ones or even ones made out of cardboard, but this here is the most unique Xbox 360 I have ever seen. And in this video, we're going to unbox it, test it out, tear it down, and see if it was worth the $1,500 I paid for it. Wow, there it is. Dude, I can't believe I actually have this on my desk here. Let me pull it all the way out. So here it is, guys. This is an Xbox 360 laptop, like fully integrated, a screen, a console, a disk drive, everything inside of it, completely custom, made by the Hex Show, which I'll talk about a little bit later, kind of what that is and where it came from. But let's go ahead and take a look at the outside of this thing. It's just like a giant briefcase. You can see on the back it's got these pretty heavy duty hinges on the back, as well as some cords that go from what I would presume is the console up to the screen. Even got our power plug. That's the one thing here. It's not fully portable because you have to plug it in, but it's pretty dang close. Now flipping to the bottom, you can see we have two rubber feet on this side. There are none over here. They look like they fell off or something, so we'll have to add those back or find some that work there and maybe clean this thing up a bit. But you can see it was, I don't know, made out of a briefcase or something. There's clearly some ventilation on the bottom as well. And flipping to the side, you can see it says HDD there, so I assume you could take these screws off and replace the hard drive. And then flipping to the front, we have two USB ports, which I would assume are just the normal two USB ports in the front of a 360, as well as what I would assume is our disk drive right there that'll hopefully function like a real 360 disk drive. And then this side looks pretty plain. Then again, flipping to the top, it's got some graphics of the Hex Show. And now the moment we've all been waiting for, let's go ahead and open this thing up and see what the inside looks like. And wow, this thing is, oh my gosh, it's so heavy. Wow, that's so wild. What is that, like a 20-inch screen? We do have a little bit of protection there, which is nice. And of course, down here we have some controls. So we have a power button. Looks like an up and down eject button. I don't know if that's for the console itself or maybe something to do with the screen. I got some ventilation over here. And these are high quality components inside of here. You can see there's even some more ventilation up here. Sponsored by Element 14, which is another thing related to the Hex Show, which I'll talk about here in just a minute. And then here on the top, we got some 360 branding. And then of course, just our massive screen. And it's worth noting here, I have a comparison point. I actually have an Xbox One laptop I bought a few years ago that's clearly much more jank than this 360 laptop over here. You can just see how high quality the craftsmanship and the build materials are here, and it's so cool to see. It's one of the honestly probably the coolest thing I own at this point, if it works. We'll find out here in a minute. And I won't talk about this too much in this video, but in case you're not familiar with the Hex Show, it's a show that was on YouTube. He had his own YouTube channel, I think, or he did it through Element 14. He used to do all kinds of hardware mods on consoles like PS3 laptops, 360 laptops. I think he might have done Xbox One laptop, all kinds of controller mods and stuff. I consider him a legend in the whole hardware modding community for YouTube, so go check him out. I'm not really sure if he does anything these days, but awesome stuff to watch back in the day. But guys, let's go ahead and plug this thing in and try to turn it on, and frankly, I hope it works. Okay guys, it is plugged in. Let's go ahead and see if this thing turns on. So I'll press, I guess, our power button here, and oh yeah, that was it. Wow, I just heard the 360 noise and everything. Got a little green light right there. Oh, that's not the magnet for the disk drive. That's just our ring of light. Yo, there it is. No way. Dude, this is insane. And it pops up with all our little options here, which I'll try to fix in just a second because the screen is pretty dim right now. And let's just go ahead and see what pops up here and make sure it gets to the main menu. Yeah, there it is. Wow. It's got kind of a funky smell to it. I guess it's been in this case for quite a long time. But guys, let me go ahead and connect up a controller, set this thing up on a tripod, and let's explore this thing. So actually, before the tripod, I want to explore some more buttons on this thing first of all. So I need to try to sync up my controller, which I can press the sync button here. And I would assume this right here is our sync button, but I'm not quite sure. We'll try it out. Press that, and oh yeah, sure enough, syncs right up. Hey, that's pretty cool. We also have a couple buttons on the right and left-hand side, which I'm not really sure what those do because I don't see anything happening on the screen. I thought they might be for like contrast adjustment or brightness adjustment or whatever, but I don't see anything happening there. So we'll try that out with something else later. Next up, let's try out this button here, which I would assume is for our eject. Let's give it a go. 3, 2, 1. Yo, dude, that's so sick. You can see it's got this like custom bezel on the front that just, you know, aligns with the case itself. And then of course the inside is just a normal disk drive. Now, looking at this thing, it looks like a 360 Slim inside, just judging by how the disk drive looks, but I'm not actually sure. I guess he could have mixed matched parts and got this thing to work, but I would assume it's a Slim inside because otherwise a fat would probably be overheating inside of here, which let's go ahead and talk about that because I feel a bunch of heat coming out the top right here, which I would assume is our big fan that's on the Slim, just pushing the air out. And then on the top piece here, I would assume our air is coming in there. I don't really feel any airflow, so yeah, it's probably coming in, cooling the whole console, coming out, and there's a lot of heat coming out here, which is that's a good sign. You can also see a little light down there. Not sure what that's for, probably the screen or something, but also a little bit of dust and grime or whatever. But this thing's been old at this point. It's like, probably 10 or 15 years old. But guys, let's go ahead and set this thing up on a tripod and explore the console some more and just see how it works. Guys, synced up here. We got some profiles on it. We got AA, Do Yeah, Doc Mods, Tact, The Saint. Also, We got sound. Yo, let's go. Where's the sound coming from? Okay, so I think there's a little speaker right there and also a speaker over there, which kind of is accented by these little holes there, which is a nice little addition. You see, there's just so many little details to this thing. This thing's so cool. Let's go ahead and boot up the Saint, I guess, and we'll play around and see how this thing functions. Maybe these buttons are the volume buttons? Yeah, it definitely is, because now it's turned down low, and I can turn it up. Yeah, there's no volume adjustment on the screen here, but you can see as I press these buttons, the volume does adjust. Okay, that makes sense. Now, first I want to start by checking out our display settings to see what this thing is registering as. So we got a 1280 by 720 screen through a DVI input. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder if I can bump this up to 1920 by 1080. Let's see if that works. That could be dangerous. I really hope it'll reset itself because okay, thank goodness, it's gone now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, not gonna try that again, but let's go to the system info and see what dashboard version we're on here. So 17.502, not the most recent, but fairly recent, still on the Metro dashboard, of course, here. This thing would be the ultimate device if it was on the Blaze dashboard. Like, imagine a 360, a fat 360 inside of this thing, Blaze dashboard, NXE dashboard, something along those lines, just awesome. Now, I'm assuming this thing probably isn't modded, like in terms of an RGH or JTAG mod, but let's go ahead and check out my games and see if dude, there's nothing here? Are you kidding me? Oh man, that's so lame. Somebody must have deleted games or never added them. Let's check out the storage and see if there's any storage on this thing. So we have 250 gigs, it looks like. Yeah, 213 gigs of free space. And it looks like there's a little bit of data taken up from just game saves and stuff. Next up, guys, I guess let's pop this disk drive back open, pop a game inside, and see if it'll actually read. All right, disk drive open. Man, can't get over that. That's just so cool to see a disk drive coming out of a briefcase. We'll pop in MW2, slide that bad boy in, and let's go ahead and see if it loads up. There it is. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, it took a couple tries, but it's loaded up now. Let's go ahead and see if this thing boots up. We'll play around a little bit and just see how this thing runs and make sure it doesn't like overheat or anything. And actually, hold on. I just noticed. Oh no, look at this. This piece right here is just flexing up. It's actually coming loose. That's not ideal. Probably gonna have to hot glue that back down or figure out how it was attached there and fix that. Wait, what? Disk is unreadable. I really hope that's my disk and not the console itself. Let's try another game. Okay, we'll try an old one here. We got Call of Duty 2. Let's go ahead and toss this in here, see if that'll read up. There we go. So this one booted up. It's just definitely a problem with the game. So let's go ahead and I'll play around with this a little bit and let the console run for a little while and see if it, I don't know, gets too hot or anything crazy happens, and I'll come back. So guys, I'm playing for 10 or 15 minutes now and it's running perfectly fine. It is a bit noisy, but honestly, it's about the same noise level as a normal 360, which is already pretty noisy. We also still have plenty of hot air coming out of this ventilation hole here, which is not too surprising. And then of course, I can actually feel the air being sucked in on our holes up top right now. So yeah, this thing's running perfectly fine. Great build quality. It's running strong so far. But guys, let's go ahead and try to take this thing apart a little bit and see what the inside looks like, at least as much as I can. So yeah, I don't know. Let's give it a try. So guys, taking this thing apart, the first thing I want to start with is trying to take out the hard drive that's here on the side. You can see we have 4 screws in the hard drive, so let's see what happens when we take that out. So I have those taken out, but the hard drive slot is not coming off. There it goes. It was just stuck because it's been there so long. All right, so the little hard drive slot comes off, and it's a little just I guess a plastic piece there, which is not too surprising. Then flipping it over to the side, you can see we just have a hard drive in there. It's probably just a standard 360 hard drive. Let's pull it out and take a look at it. And yeah, 250 gigs there. It's definitely very dusty. It's been in there for quite a long time. And looking inside of this hole, I can actually see some pieces that are kind of coming out of place, like they were hot glued or something. They're just falling out of place. Let me see if I can open this console up any further. Yeah, there's some screws around the bottom. So let's go ahead and try to take those off and see what happens. So we finally got this thing open, and you can see there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. But first of all, let me take you to the top to give you a little bit of reference, a point of reference. So our top is still our top with the Hex Show graphics there. On the left-hand side, we have a phone box just kind of propping it up, so go ahead and ignore that. But here on the bottom, our motherboard is mounted to the bottom of the case. And we'll start on the left-hand side here. You can see our slim disk drive there. Looks pretty normal, labeled as a 1 for whatever reason. We also have a little fan right there, I guess, for some more. That looks like a intake fan right there, I believe, that comes out or comes through those, all those ventilation holes we saw in the back, pulls in air through there. And really the main thing to make note of in here is the entire power supply is in here. You can see power supply components back there, and as we come around to the front, then like half the inside is a power supply, which makes sense because you don't want it external for this this full chassis here. And then taking a look at the right hand side here, we have our APU, our heat sink, our fan, just normal stuff, and that blows out through that ventilation hole we saw on the right hand side where that little piece is coming loose. And you can see it's probably coming loose because all that stuff is just hot glued in there, which over time will come a little bit loose. Now next up, we have a giant ribbon cable here, which is actually connecting from from that front piece that usually connects to the faceplate. It's coming all the way up here to that ring of light, so you can, you know, obviously have the ring of light displaced into a different spot. There's even some controls up there. Those are for our eject button, all that kind of stuff. You can see wires going back and forth to connect all those buttons up. There's even a little board right there. I'm not quite sure what that's for. I haven't really traced it out. It might be for power, maybe for speakers. And speaking of speakers, you can see there's one speaker back there in that right-hand side. That is the piece that was coming loose that I mentioned when I was looking through the hard drive bay. And then on the left-hand side, there is one more speaker over there, so you got you know, left and right speakers, which is nice. And while we're back there, you can see all of that stuff is kind of hot glued in place, but some of it is coming loose now that it's just, you know, it's been in there for ages at this point. And of course, wires and other stuff going all over the place, which is not really surprising for a custom build like this. And honestly, impressive if I can even get it apart this much without breaking things. At least I hope it didn't break. But guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about this console, and if you like this one, I bet you like this crazy water-cooled console I got a few weeks ago. Go check that out. And guys, I'll see you next time.